Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Nigeria. Good evening, Canada. No, good afternoon, Canada. If you're in the US, it's still good afternoon, United States of America. My people in Ontario, Canada. My people in Toronto. My people in Calgary. This is Dr. Ned coming to you live all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. This is the Invest in Africa Summit 2026 virtual edition, the recap series. And tonight we'll be having lots of conversations around investing in real estate in Nigeria, especially investing in real estate in Lagos State, Nigeria. Tonight, I have with me on this podium my co founder, amazing wife, partner, friend, Mrs. Ichechi Okonkwo, popularly known as CEO of Lagos. CEO, are you there? We'll also be joined tonight by my big sister and friend, the very adorable Mrs. Toke Benson Awoyinka, the Honorable Commissioner for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Lagos State. I'm sure she'll be joining us shortly. I'll also have to join us tonight my friend, my brother, Dr. Zoe, all the way from Canada, Dr. Zoe. Dr. Zoe, are you here? Please say hello to our guest. Nazo Tokam. Thank you very much, Dr. Zoe. Straight up in this conversation, we started on the journey of doing the Invest in Africa some months back. We were in the United Kingdom, London, Manchester, Birmingham. Afterwards, we took a short break. We went on to Maryland, USA. We were in Atlanta, we were in Houston. We stepped it on. We went to Canada, we went to Toronto, and all of it. And on that journey, we had our brothers and sisters in that diaspora welcoming us greatly. A lot of them listened to us. A lot of them also expressed their fears and doubts. Doubts in the Nigerian economy, doubts in the real estate market in Nigeria. And like they always say, the Nigerian real estate market is filled with uncertainties. And lots of people said they had lost their funds. Some sat on the fence, while some others decided to take the risk and gamble of investing in real estate back home in Lagos. And some of the questions and worries that some of the investors that we met with had was simple. Is now the right time to invest back home? 1 year after, that question, hopefully, will be answered tonight. The answers is no longer based only on projection. It is now supported by visible market movements, price shifts, and stronger investor conversation. Tonight is about reflection, clarity, and confident decision making. And so, to our brothers and sisters who may still be sitting on the sidelines, we do hope that after the night, we'll be able to convince you and not confuse you that now is the right time to invest back home in Nigeria. You see, the real estate market in Nigeria is driven by demand. A lot of people believe that real estate in Nigeria is a bubble that could burst. But the question I ask you is, what is a bubble? And what is the bubble that is going to burst? A market that is driven by strong demand drivers, strong population, heavy rural-urban migration, a city that houses over 28 million people. Yet, we have between 3,000 to 4,000 people estimated migrating to Lagos on a daily basis. So, do you really think that with such a very heavy demand on housing, that the real estate market may crash? Well, I'm sorry to tell you this, that aside from that, the tourism in Lagos is driving the conversation. Lagos is no longer just about 30 December. Lagos is about a reinvigoration of the different festivals that Lagos hitherto was known for. The Eyo Festival, the Fanti Carnival, the E1 race in Lagos. Lagos has become a city that never sleeps all year round. So if you thought Lagos was just about 30 December, I'm sorry to burst your bubbles. Today, I was listening to the news and I saw there that, oh, after 4 years, the CAF African Footballer of the Year ceremony is coming back to Nigeria. And sincerely speaking, what does all of this portend for the real estate market? Strong demand, strong investor confidence, values to be created for the average investors. And sincerely speaking, let me take you through a little bit of the numbers. You see, the Lagos market is estimated that Nigeria as a whole has a housing deficit in excess of 17 million. But if you have an emergency in the housing sector, and yet nobody is pumping in so much money into the sector, definitely the demand will continue to grow and expand. And if you ask some of the professionals like us, we will tell you every effort that is being done within the housing sector seems like a drop in a tiny drop in a very large ocean. Because the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came up with very fantastic ideas on how to reduce the housing deficit. And one of such was to construct about 774,000 homes across the different local governments in Nigeria. And they have started, they called it the Renewable Housing Scheme. The government also came up with the MREF, which is MOFI backed, the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, providing funding for the housing sector for the first time ever in the history of Nigeria. We are having a housing fund where investors can take loans at single digit, 9.75%, backed by the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Ministry of Finance. And so with that funding, lots of investors had the opportunity to buy homes using the MOFI MREF funds. And you know what the MREF fund provides? It provides 100 million naira for home buyers at single digit interest rates. So while our traditional banks and mortgage bankers were providing interest rates to investors and would-be homeowners at 24%, 26%, MREF was filling this gap. And you know, our company was one of those who took the gospel of MREF to our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. And so, when the scorecard of MREF was read, a total of 1,909 mortgages were created by MREF. And you want to know the truth, 83% of those who assessed that mortgage were Nigerians in the diaspora. And I'm sure some of them are here, right here on this forum, having this conversation with us. And so, while many felt that MREF money was not real, Nigerians in the diaspora latched onto it. Some of them had to do deposits as low as 20 million naira or 10 million naira, and they were able to buy homes. And I'm also happy to tell you guys that out of that 1,909 MREF mortgages that were created, about 180 out of that mortgage was created by our company, because we were churning out ready homes in different segments of the market. And so the MREF funding enabled some of our customers to have those homes. Now, I'm going to go to some of the things that has driven the prices of houses in the past few years, in the past few months. How the market was, where we were when we went to Invest in Africa series. And I'll take you guys to the project offerings that we gave during the Invest in Africa series. When we went to the Invest in Africa series, the price of cement was going for 9,000 naira during the Invest in Africa series. Today, a price of cement is seen at 12,500 naira. Now, all of this have affected construction and the property market one way or the other. Because when construction inputs increase, the value or prices increase. What also affects is the replacement cost of the housing unit that people are building. So well-planned communities become more expensive. So properties that are in locations that are flood-free and the rest of them become more expensive to access. And so during that period in question, when we went to the Invest in Africa series, we had different portfolios of projects. One of them was the Citadel Oasis. The Citadel Oasis had two-bedroom apartment going for 78 million naira. We had three-bedroom terraces going for about 108 million naira. We had three-bedroom semi-detached. We had semi-detached homes at Citadel Oasis going for 126 million naira. Today, what is the price of those houses? A two-bedroom apartment at the Citadel Oasis is going for 140 million naira. This represents a sharp 46% capital gain on the investment of those who bought a two-bedroom apartment. At the Citadel Oasis, three-bedroom terrace went for 108 million naira. And today, that same three-bedroom terrace is going for 166.5 million naira, representing a sharp 54% increase in the price of those homes, in the capital yield appreciated. The semi-detached that went for 126 million naira today is going for 222 million naira, representing nearly 90% capital yield on that particular house type. The capital terraces that were selling for 65 million naira during the Invest in Africa series, today is going for, at today's present price, 89.4 million naira, representing 38% increase in value. This is at the 1.0 phase B that we had two-bedroom apartment going for 50 million naira. Today, the same two-bedroom apartment is going for 114 million naira, representing nearly 120% increase in capital appreciation. The BH7 apartment, where we had the two-bedroom apartment going for 200 million naira, then during the Invest in Africa series, it's actually going for 280 million naira today. So you can see what has happened within the housing market. So today, we decided, because it's a recap edition, we decided to take you guys back memory lane. The houses that we put on offering nearly a year and 2 months ago, and the stages of work at those projects. So I want you guys to cue me the video of the projects that we have finished. Thank you very much once more. Thank you for waiting on. The videos we just showed you are some of our completed projects. This is at the 1.0 phase B, which has about 188 units. It's been completed. We marketed that on the Invest in Africa series. The Bram Heights 7 apartments, we marketed that. They are completed now. The Vanna Signature, we marketed that. They are completed now. The next villas in Lekki Foreshore, they are completed. We have the Capital Gardens, Capital Terraces, Capital Lofts. All those units are completed. The Citadel Oasis, which has about 388 units, we have completed 100%. About 320 units. We have about 68 units under construction, and by God's grace and power, we should be able to deliver those within the next 3 months. The Den Heights, the first 2 blocks under construction. The last 2, hopefully we should deliver those ones in October. The Oasis Heights under construction. So we've had back-to-back allocations at those different estates. And I make bold to tell you guys today that the first set of occupants have moved into the BH7 apartment. If you watch my social media handle earlier on today, I posted a video. I went into the site this morning. I was so elated to find out some of the residents and subscribers have actually moved in. I'm also happy to tell you guys that we have about 25 people who have moved into the Capital Terraces. I'm going to give our team the opportunity to play a video for some of those subscribers who have moved into the Capital Loft estate, so that you get to see for yourself some of the testimonials from some of those customers who have taken delivery of their houses and moved. What you just saw are the videos of those projects that we talked about. And you know what? What has changed? What is driving demand? Demand is being driven by, most importantly, the improved infrastructure that is happening in Lagos State. The digitization of the GIS land registry information by the Lagos State government is enabling more investors to have confidence in the title documentation issued within Lagos State. Also, what I would have tagged the ninth wonder of the world, the Lagos Calabar Coastal Road, which my senator friends told me that in the 10-year master plan of Nigeria, there's no budget, no plan that has been made for it. But the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into power and decided that it was a major focus for this administration. And within less than 2 years, that road has been completed to as far as Epe, to as far as the Dangote refinery, while work is still ongoing on taking the road to access at least 8 states within Nigeria. And so what has changed drastically? The journey time from Victoria Island to Citadel Oasis, where you have the new Charterhouse School, will take you just 12 minutes from Eko Hotel. Even if you decide to go on the Lekki Express Road, the Lagos State government has repaired Lekki Express Road. They have cleaned up the entire road. They have repaired everything. The trunk A, trunk B, and trunk C phase of the reconstruction work on those roads has been completed. And so the journey time from Lekki Phase 1 to Capital Gardens in Idera will take you just about 35 minutes on that road. If you go on the coastal road, it will take you just about 38 minutes because you get to Eleko and then you turn outward to start coming. So a lot of this has changed. You see, as far as you have government responding by deepening infrastructure and opening up suburbs and satellite towns that hitherto nobody wanted to go there, what it means is that just the same way those that are in the UK can live 2 hours away from their place of employment and jump on the train to come to work, it's the same thing that will keep happening in Lagos, because the government is working seriously towards ensuring that every part of Lagos is connected one way or the other. The journey time from Ikorodu to Victoria Island on the boat is just about 18 minutes. The journey time via train has been shortened. The Lagos State government has brought in more and more coaches on the blue line and the red line. So while the green line work has gone on in design at advanced stage, and the announcements are being said that at any point from now, the green line that links up Marina to Epe will be activated and work will commence. And so what does this mean for the investor? It means that the investors have more options, but then the questions that needed answers that the investors asked when we went for the Invest in Africa service, the questions that who is the developer that they can go with? Who can they trust with their money? Investors have been betrayed by uncles, aunts, fathers, mothers, sisters, family members. Same investors have been betrayed by some developers. So the question is, who is the developer that has delivered before? Where a developer has been telling you that I'm building a mega city, the question is, has he delivered 10 bungalows before? The question that the subscribers are asking is, are those areas prone to flooding? What does it look like when it's raining? Even though we have issues of climate change all over the world, but some areas are better planned. Some developers have taken the extra time and the extra effort to become the government by ensuring that the areas where they develop, they plug in the drainage infrastructures of those estates to the drainage master plan of the states where they operate or where Lagos State has designed the drainage master plan, and the developer plugs into those areas. Timing. What happens if I have to wait 6 months? Because a lot of times we have seen developers who will tell you that a house will be finished and completed in 3 months. And you say like, okay, he told me 3 months. But like I always say, every lie told in real estate has a 2-year expiry period. So if you decide to go with the developer who is lying to you that you get your property in 3 months over the one that has been tested and trusted, it is your call. Documentation. What documents and title do I get? How is payment records kept? What will I receive when I part with my money? C of O in process is not C of O, is not a title. Government survey is not a title. And those are the lies that people were told in the past. In the past, some people do real estate to be real estate that the agents earn 25%. And so where the agents earn 25%, what value will be left for the investor? So at the end of the day, you buy a property, the agent goes and earns 25 or 20%. And they end up giving the agent a trip to Bahamas, another trip to Kenya, and a brand new car. So what would the subscribers get? Well, in some cases, they have gotten palm oil and cows and fowl for a layer. But that may be all they will get because their property may never appreciate. So, financing. Can I access mortgage or structured payment and support? Those are the questions to be answered. And so, without wasting much of our time, I'd like to bring on board my co-founder, friend, adorable wife, and partner, the one and only Mrs. Ichechi Okonkwo, the CEO of Lagos. To say 1 or 2 words to our subscribers. First and foremost, I want to go through some of the worries that people have. Lagos is a coastal city. Lagos State has the largest coastline in the whole of Nigeria. Now, because of that, it is literally surrounded by water. And so, Lagos State developers, or rather people who develop homes in Lagos, need to consider the floodplains, need to consider the direction of water before they do their construction. A lot of people will go to floodplain and go and reclaim it and believe that nothing will happen. They have increased it. But no, where you are developing is supposed to be a floodplain. And one day the government will come and say they want to create their earth channels to take the water out. And so that's typically what happens most times. I'm an Igbo man. I've developed properties here over the past how many years? 26 years of my life. And nobody has come to bring down my property for any political reason. I have lived in Lagos practically all my life. And sincerely speaking, I also developed properties in the East. But the simple truth is this. Every property I've developed in the East, I've developed those properties because I want to create employment where we come from. Not because I want to make money out of it. And sincerely speaking, emotional sentiment is not what you take to the bank. I can walk to the bank today and say, I want to develop a property somewhere in Lagos. They'll check it in land registry. They will give me money to go and develop it. If my business requires a little bit of capital reinjection, I can take the C of O or governor's consent of any of these properties in Lagos and give to them and they'll give me money. Dr. Joe just told you about the properties he built in the East. There are lots of very rich, powerful Igbo developers, Igbo investors that I know, that all their life they told themselves they only buy properties in Awada layouts. So just imagine what it looks like to be having 10-story building in Awada layout, lined up, no proper title. And so when the man needs money to reinject in his business, or when the man needs money because he's a little bit ill, his investment cannot take care of him. We should tell ourselves the truth. I have developed properties over the past 21 years of my life in Lagos. I have been a real estate agent for 26 years. And the reason why I call myself an agent is because I started as an agent. I did my first real estate deal in VGC in 2001. And I made money as agency fee. And so, I want to assure everybody on this Instagram live, on this Zoom session, everybody who is hearing me, or everybody who this recording will get to, Nigeria is on an upward trajectory. The eighth wonder of the world, the Aliko Dangote refinery, a lot of people felt it will never happen. Today, the Aliko Dangote refinery, the Dangote refinery is operating. And because the Dangote refinery is operating, a lot of more people have jobs within the refinery axis. Because the free trade zone is in existence, a lot of manufacturing companies are within that free trade zones. And so, while everybody is understanding that the outskirts of Lagos have heavy inflows of manufacturing companies from overseas taking up positioning in those areas, but nobody is answering the question: who is going to provide the homes that those people will live in? Will they live forever in hotels? The answer is no. They are going to have families. They are going to have homes that they will walk up to at the close of work every day, just the same way I'm going to go back home to my wife, my family, and my kids. Housing should no longer be seen as a social necessity, but rather housing should be seen as an economic engine. Because for me to function very well, my driver needs a good roof over his head. For my wife to function very well, the nannies and maids that tend for our children need a proper roof over their head, not just for themselves, but for also their families. And so for me to function well, we house 85% of our workforce in our staff housing projects or in our estates. So the opportunities that are being opened up with the establishment of those free trade zones, the refinery, the new Lekki deep sea port, amongst others, the Dangote refinery, majority of those benefiting from those opportunities are the Nigerians in diaspora. You know why? Because some years ago, when dollar to a naira was 150, 157, just about 10, 11 years ago, the cost of selling a property in Chevron was going for 60 million naira. And so for you to buy a property in Chevron, you needed $400,000. Today, for you to buy a property in Chevron, you no longer need $400,000. You need less. And so, as more developers are removing themselves from those areas where the cost of housing is significantly lower, they are moving to the high-end area where, knowing fully well that the bottom of the pyramid is fatter under, but because nobody wants to do the dirty job, because it's more difficult. So the question I say investors should be asking is not what are they building, but rather who is the developer? What are they known for? What have they developed before? And so before you look me eyeball to eyeball and say that a particular developer took your money from you, before you say a particular developer took your money from you, You should have asked yourself the question, did you do proper due diligence before you went into business with a developer? The answer to those questions is structure. Clarity on property value must now be matched with clarity on financing. I am one of those who believe strongly that no developer should charge anybody variation costs if the customer and subscriber is paying according to the agreed payment schedule. Because where you have paid according to payment schedule, there is no need for anybody to charge you any variation. Because the answer is simple. We understand that Nigerian market is VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And so because it's so, the risk is factored in your profitability analysis. So a few days ago, my wife said to me that when we went on the first Invest in Africa, some people saw the offers that we came with. Very, very interesting offers. And so they said to us, she and her team came up to me and said, Dr. Ned, we cannot do an Invest in Africa summit without an offer. So Dr. Ned, give me an offer that I'll give to my Invest in Africa people. And I said to her, CEO of Lagos, I will give you an offer, yes, but this offer has to have a limited time lapse, right? So on today's Invest in Africa, I'm going to give you these beautiful offers. After giving you these offers, then we'll go to the question, right? So the first offer I'll be giving you guys is the BH7 apartment. I'm sure you saw it today. Or if you go to my Instagram, you're going to see that beautiful house. Some of the subscribers have moved in, water, light, all sorted, security, all sorted. So a 2-bedroom apartment that is finished in Block A is going for 280 million. We're going to give you that 2-bedroom for 270 million naira, and we expect payment within the next 30 days. Now we have the Oasis Heights. Oasis Heights, ordinarily we are selling for about 300 million naira, but we're giving you 250 million naira, right? And you get to make payment within, spread to as much as 10 months. We also have the Ivana Signature, a completed project. We are giving you that unit. That house is being sold for 260 million. We are giving you for 240 million naira, but cash payment must be made within 30 days. The Ivana Signature and Bromite 7 are directly adjacent to each other. So we expect that within the next few days, you can reach out to your advisor or your consultant, or to any of my numbers that will be displayed on the screen, or to the CEO of Lagos. We also have the Citadel Oasis 2-bedroom apartment that is work is at 80% on that set. We are selling for 114 million, but with solar, but we're giving you the opportunity to take it for 110 million on a 6-month plan. We're not presenting these offers as. We also have the Den Heights, by the way. The Den Heights, the units are under construction. We have 2-bedroom with BQ that we're selling for 350 million naira now, but we're taking you back to the pre-launch offer that we're selling for 300 million naira. The 2-bedroom without BQ, we're selling now 300 million naira. We'll take you back to the pre-launch offer for 250 million naira. While the 3-bedroom with BQ that we're selling for 430 million naira, we're giving you a pre-launch deal, which is 400 million naira. It's actually on your screen right now, and we're still selling those units. We have a few units that we're just going to put on this Invest in Africa offer. So I expect you to fill your forms, send in those forms, and then we take the conversation forward from there. Time is fast spent, so I would be dropping my numbers, even though I'm going to now take the questions, and my number will be displayed on the screen. It's there on WhatsApp. You hit me on it. You get to talk to me anytime you want. 070-842 09626 070-842-09626. So I'll take some of the questions that have been sent in the chat room. Is there mortgage options available for Citadel Meadows Phase C? Our newest project that we launched a few days ago, we call it the Citadel Meadows Phase C. Now, Citadel Meadows, the Phase C, the Citadel Meadows is just directly behind the Citadel 1.0 Phase B. They share walls. So we started construction. We hope to finish within 12 to 15 months maximum. We're doing from 0% payment, from 10% deposit to as much as cash payment option. That particular project, we are giving a ridiculous deal for investors who want to key into that project. We've got the 2-bedroom with BQ. For those who are on our wait list, we have ridiculous discounts spelled out for them. If you're doing cash payment, you get as high as 12%. If you've been on wait list, you get an extra 1%. If you are doing instrumental payment plan, you get about 7% discount off the price of those houses. If you are doing 18 months payment plan, we also have the plan like that. Can you guys send that to the screen for me? Can you guys send that to the screen for me? So if we have people within the chat room who want to ask questions, we can take those questions. We still have about 15 minutes. Can an investor make it in Lagos investment on real estate? Yes. Most of us are scared of demolition. There's no demolition happening on any of my properties. And I know developers that are credible, that are doing good work, that are doing quality work. It's not people who are going to go and develop properties on floodplains. Yes, those numbers I gave you, 070-842-09626. They're actually on WhatsApp. Yes, you can. Like I said earlier, a lot is improving. If we have anybody who wants to ask questions, I would be glad to answer those questions. But like I said earlier, a lot is improving in Nigeria. When I went on the Invest in Africa Summit, I said this to our brothers and sisters in Nigeria. The problems that made you leave Nigeria, the problems are opportunities. So if you have gone to the diaspora and you have improved yourself, come back home, invest in that area where you feel you can create value, and then make money out of it. Because money follows value creation. If you feel the healthcare sector in Nigeria is not doing well, it's time for you to put money in the healthcare sector. In as much as some will say Nigeria is not so structured, but I say this to you, who is going to build structure if not you? We cannot leave that structure alone to be built by government. Today, when we develop properties, we design drainage master plan for the estates that we build. We design power plants for the estates that we build. With the new energy regulation, we can get to have power. You can generate 1 megawatt of energy without license. And you can sell. You have what you call the willing buyer, the willing seller. A lot of Nigerian companies, in collaboration with Chinese and Indian companies, are doing a lot of manufacturing within the free trade zone, and they are exporting their products overseas. The opportunity in Nigeria is tremendous. I see my friend and sister generator girl in the house. You can't imagine how much energy Premium Power Solutions provides for parties, events, and organizations who require power. She could have as well sat down to say that energy business will not work in Nigeria. There's no power in Nigeria. There's no NEPA light. There's no this light. But she has seen an opportunity out of it. So I will keep saying it. Be the government your family knows. create the businesses, create the employment. If each and every one of us folds our hand, Nigeria will not get better. But Nigeria will get better because you have decided to believe in that country. And like I say to people, have you said, God bless Nigeria? Have you said a word of prayer for Nigeria? Have you said a word of prayer for our leaders? No matter what is happening in America, the decisions that the president of America is taking, nobody is swearing for Donald Trump. Americans are still saying, God bless America. When was the last time you said, God bless Nigeria? Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much. My team is reaching out to you directly. So if you need any flyers, they're going to give you. It's a journey of educating our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. A lot of times you realize that what is actually happening is the developers they get to see the most are those that end up taking their money and not giving them homes, because the developers who are busy doing the work may not even have the time to go and market Nigerians in diaspora. So what ends up happening is people end up hoodwinking them. And just like every other person who has lost money, they say once beaten, 3 times shy. So if you've lost money in the real estate space before to scammers and their likes, you are always wary of everybody. And so when somebody is marketing you, you need to convince yourself that this developer is the one to go with. And the only way you can convince yourself is to go back and see what that developer has been doing, what the developer has done over the past few years. Is it a one project wonder developer? Or is it a developer that will tell you we are doing a city, and when you go there, the only thing you have seen is gatehouse. The fence has not been completed 10 years after. Nigerians in diaspora, a lot of them have lost money. And so when you see them speak with bitterness, they speak because Uncle Charlie takes from them nearly 50% of their income. They pay a lot of taxes in the US. It's like as if they want to tax the air that they breathe. And then when they come back and bring that money home, they hear stories that touch the heart, that devaluation happened, currency increase happened, inflation happened, so they cannot get their home. Is that Nigerian in diaspora a shareholder in your company? He's not. And so why should he share the losses? But when you were making the money, you were buying G-Guard for your wife, carrying your children to the Bahamas as a developer. So it's time we write that story. And the more we begin to educate our Nigerians in diaspora, that before you leap, look carefully. Do not invest because there is noise. Invest because you understand the location, the value, the process, the documentation, and the long-term opportunity. And that's why we brought this conversation to you 1 year after. It's not just about looking back alone. It's about helping investors move forward and become better informed, so that the man who has been sitting on the fence understands that the moment he is able to convince himself that this developer is worth investing in their projects, then they can start. So I do hope with these few points of mine that even if you don't buy a property from us, that you will tell a friend to tell a friend that in the event that they choose to invest in the Nigerian real estate sector, that there's one company that has singled itself out and they are worthy of taking money from you. What I've put on the line in my 26 years of being in this industry is putting my name on the line, putting my name as a seal and mark of quality on every project that we have churned out. And so, like I say to people, If you take away everything that I've made in this life, remember to leave me with my wife and my lovely kids. But if you take away everything, after leaving my wife and my lovely kids, give me the opportunity to still retain my name. Because that name is a mark of integrity, a mark of honor, a mark to say that we promise, we deliver. Thank you very much. God bless you all. So, somebody asked a question. They said that I've challenged them to move from criticism to contribution. Beyond buying property, what other meaningful ways can professionals in the diaspora partner with developers like yours to create lasting economic impact? There are so many diverse ways that you can partner with us. As I speak to you, we are converting all our generators to gas gensets. And we're doing this because we recognize that gas is a more viable and cheaper and more sustainable source of fuel. And so we are converting those generators. So one of the people doing it is somebody who used to live in the UK, who I met some years ago, and he sent us a proposal, and today we are working with that with him. There are lots of ways. You see, we do consumer leasing of electric vehicles in Nigeria. There are people who approach us and said, you know what, we want to partner with you. Let's create value for the Nigerian ecosystem. Let's create value for the Nigerian market. So there are lots of ways that people can add value to us. So all you just need to do is to reach out to us. I'm just one WhatsApp message, one DM. I'm the one who runs my social media handle, by the way. So if you send me a message on my DM, you always get to talk to me on 070-8420-9626. That's the phone in front of me. If you send me a message right away, I can always reach out to you and we have conversations. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much. My team is reaching out to you directly. So if you need any flyers, they're going to give you. It's a journey of educating our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. A lot of times you realize that what is actually happening is the developers they get to see the most are those that end up taking their money and not giving them homes. Because the developers who are busy doing the work may not even have the time to go and market Nigerians in diaspora. So what ends up happening is people end up hoodwinking them. And just like every other person who has lost money, they say once beaten, 3 times shy. So if you've lost money in the real estate space before to scammers and their likes, you are always wary of everybody. And so when somebody is marketing you, you need to convince yourself that this developer is the one to go with. And the only way you can convince yourself is to go back and see what that developer has been doing, what the developer has done over the past few years. Is it a one project wonder developer? Or is it a developer that will tell you we are doing a city, and when you go there, the only thing you have seen is gatehouse. The fence has not been completed 10 years after. Nigerians in diaspora, a lot of them have lost money. And so when you see them speak with bitterness, they speak because Uncle Charlie takes from them nearly 50% of their income. They pay a lot of taxes in the US. It's like as if they want to tax the air that they breathe. And then when they come back and bring that money home, they hear stories that touch the heart, that devaluation happened, currency increase happened, inflation happened, so they cannot get their home. Is that Nigerian in diaspora a shareholder in your company? He's not. And so why should he share the losses? But when you were making the money, you were buying G-Guard for your wife, carrying your children to the Bahamas as a developer. So it's time we write that story. And the more we begin to educate our Nigerians in diaspora, that before you leap, look carefully. Do not invest because there is noise. Because Invest because you understand the location, the value, the process, the documentation, and the long-term opportunity. And that's why we brought this conversation to you 1 year after. It's not just about looking back alone. It's about helping investors move forward and become better informed, so that the man who has been sitting on the fence understands that the moment he is able to convince himself that this developer is worth investing in their projects, then they can start. So I do hope with these few points of mine that even if you don't buy a property from us, that you will tell a friend to tell a friend that in the event that they choose to invest in the Nigerian real estate sector, that there's one company that has singled itself out and they are worthy of taking money from you. What I've put on the line in my 26 years of being in this industry is putting my name on the line, putting my name as a seal and mark of quality on every project that we have churned out. And so, like I say to people, if you take away everything that I've made in this life, remember to leave me with my wife and my lovely kids. But if you take away everything, after leaving my wife and my lovely kids, give me the opportunity to still retain my name, because that name is a mark of integrity, a mark of honor, a mark to say that we promise, we deliver. Thank you very much. God bless you all. So, somebody asked a question. They said that I've challenged them to move from criticism to contribution. Beyond buying property, what other meaningful ways can professionals in the diaspora partner with developers like yours to create lasting economic impact? There are so many diverse ways that you can partner with us. As I speak to you, we are converting all our generators to gas gensets. And we're doing this because we recognize that gas is a more viable and cheaper and more sustainable source of fuel. And so we are converting those generators. One of the people doing it is somebody who used to live in the UK, who I met some years ago, and he sent us a proposal, and today we are working with that with him. There are lots of ways. You see, we do consumer leasing of electric vehicles in Nigeria. There are people who approach us and said, you know what, we want to partner with you. Let's create value for the Nigerian ecosystem. Let's create value for the Nigerian market. So there are lots of ways that people can add value to us. So all you just need to do is to reach out to us. You know, I'm just one WhatsApp message, one DM. You know, I'm the one who runs my social media handle, by the way. So if you send me a message on my DM, you know, you always get to talk to me on 070-8420-9626. That's the phone in front of me. If you send me a message right away, I can always reach out to you and we have conversations.